She lives two lives, one inside the house, one outside it. At home, she speaks softly, washes the dishes before being asked, answers her mother in a tone learned from history. Outside, she laughs louder, drives with the windows down, and orders takeout her parents still call junk food. She's not pretending. She's surviving. According to the American Psychological Association, 2021, first-generation women in the U.S. experience acculturation stress, a persistent strain caused by shifting between cultural value systems. It's not rebellion, it's bilingual emotional translation. Every day she translates not just words, but worlds. Be humble becomes don't stand out. Be grateful becomes don't complain. Be successful becomes make everyone proud but never uncomfortable. The APA describes this as bicultural identity fatigue, when self-expression feels like betrayal. Have you ever caught yourself editing your personality depending on who's watching? That's not deceit. It's adaptation. She knows her parents worked for everything she has. Their sacrifice is written into every choice she makes. And that's the trap, gratitude that sometimes feels like guilt. She's learned that silence keeps peace. When her parents question her choices, college major, friendships, independence, she smiles instead of arguing, because arguing feels like betrayal too. Her American friends say, just set boundaries. But boundaries don't translate easily in a home built on sacrifice. Harvard's 2022 intergenerational role reversal study found that in immigrant households, daughters often become emotional interpreters, explaining culture to parents, softening conflict, protecting them from shame. They end up parenting the people who raised them. That's her. She fills out the forms, makes the calls, translates the letters. When her parents are anxious, she calms them. When she's anxious, she hides it. Have you ever noticed how exhaustion feels noble when it's for family? Try asking, if I stopped fixing everything, would I still be loved? She never doubts her parents' love. She doubts if it's safe to disappoint them. And that's the paradox of first-gen daughters, raised to succeed, yet taught that independence must never look like distance. When she finally studies her own feelings instead of her parents', she discovers something else, fear disguised as respect. The APA notes that bicultural stress often triggers self-erasure, a quiet pattern of shrinking one identity to protect the other. That's why she hesitates before posting pictures her family might judge, or hides parts of her social life behind polite vagueness. She's not lying. She's editing for safety. Psychologists call this emotional code switching, a survival habit that can blur the line between belonging and invisibility. Have you felt that split? At work you speak freely, at home you measure every word. It's like living in subtitles, but awareness begins healing. She starts realizing her parents' fears came from love, not control. They feared losing her to a world they didn't know how to navigate. So she stops translating feelings into guilt. She starts translating them into empathy, both directions. Now she observes instead of obeys automatically. When her mother says, "Good girls don't live alone," she hears, "I'm afraid you'll be lonely." When her father asks, "Why study art?" she hears, "I worry you'll struggle like we did." Understanding doesn't mean agreement. It means context. Harvard's 2022 study calls this reversal awareness, recognizing that compassion can flow upward without losing boundaries downward. She learns to answer softly but firmly, "I know you want safety for me. I want joy for me, maybe both can exist." Have you tried speaking that sentence aloud? It's not rebellion, it's translation with love. She begins setting emotional boundaries not as walls, but as doors with locks she controls. When she says no, it's not disrespect, it's self-definition. Her parents still don't understand everything, but they start noticing her peace. And slowly, peace becomes proof of maturity. Now she carries both worlds without dropping either. The APA defines emotional maturity as the ability to honor the past while choosing the present consciously. She doesn't need to reject her roots to grow. She just needs to plant them in her own soil. She cooks her mother's recipes while listening to her own music. She prays in a language her parents taught her, then journals in English about what that prayer meant. She's both and neither and whole. Try this, write one belief your parents gave you that still protects you, and one you're ready to release. Then comment below which feels heavier, the keeping or the letting go. Because collective stories heal faster than private ones. Harvard's data shows that when first-gen women openly discuss this balance, guilt decreases and empathy increases across generations. That's the real inheritance, understanding. Maybe she's not trapped between two worlds anymore. Maybe she's building a bridge sturdy enough for both to walk across. Maybe that's what success looks like now, not escape, but harmony. And maybe that's the psychology of her peace.